Hello, welcome back to my channel. My name is Addie, and today we are going to be doing my September wrap-up. And I skipped wrap-up last month, but I kind of want to bring them back. Just like for the people that don't watch the vlogs or don't want to watch like a 45-minute vlog to see how I feel about books. This is just a quick recap of all the books that I read in September. I read some really good ones. I read very fall, atmospheric, got very much in the mood. I did only read 7 books this month, which like is a little low for me. Not that low for me, but like usually I'm in the 10 category, but this is my first like full month of school and like in a new place. I feel like that's pretty good, so I'm not mad about it or anything. I read some really great ones though, so I'm really excited to talk about them with you guys. So the first book that I read in September is Ninth House by Leigh Bardugo. I really enjoyed this one. Honestly, I just sit on it for a little bit because when I first read it in my Dark Academia vlog, I was like, I like it, but I don't love it. But like the more I thought about it, the more I was like, okay, that was good. Like that was a fun time. Like I had to think about it for a second. But the only issue I had with it was I felt like it was a little long. I think that's why I kind of felt meh at the end, because by the end I was kind of like excited to move on to the next thing. Like it could have been condensed a little bit. However, story-wise, it was a great story and really well written. This was, I think, Leigh Bardugo's like first adult book, so that was really interesting to read because I love Six of Crows and stuff. This was kind of a dark academia, like fantasy. It follows this girl, Alex, who is going to Yale. She does not belong at Yale, but she's basically like recruited by Yale because she can see like ghosts. Since she can see ghosts, Yale wants her to like keep an eye on the secret societies and like make sure that they're not getting into anything too bad and letting like their magic run rampant. So that's kind of her job, but like obviously she does not really belong at Yale. Like she's from a pretty shady past and she's like kind of struggling a little bit. But yeah, it was really fun. I loved like seeing all the interactions like that she had with the ghosts. Like that was so much fun. And like all the spells and all the magic, like it was a super interesting concept to mix the fantasy elements, a little horror, and dark academia. And I thought that was like, it was such a creative story and I really enjoyed it. Definitely would recommend it for this time of year. I just bought Hellbent and I want to read it like sometime in October, November. I think it's a really great time of year. And also this book left on a major cliffhanger, so I'm very excited to get to the next one. I think I rated this somewhere in like 3.75. I think that's a pretty safe rating to 4. I'm not sure, somewhere around there if I were to give it a rating. The next book I read in September was In My Dreams I Hold a Knife by Ashley Winstead. This was a really fun time. Like, do I really remember anything that happened? No. Like, it wasn't super memorable or like out of my mind. Like, I've never read anything about it in my life. However, it was fun. Like, I remember, I have like such a specific like image of my head like reading this. It was on like my first days here on campus and I like went to the lake and I read by the lake and just kind of like an hour went by and like I was like so far into it. The time went by fast reading this. It was such a quick, fun, fast-paced read. It read very much like a thriller mystery. It's marketed as dark academia, which it is, but it definitely leans more into the thriller mystery aspect of it. The characters were super unreliable, very unlikable, but it was like in a fun way. Honestly, I really don't even remember what it was about. It was about like this friend group in college that were very exclusive, and one of them died and everyone thinks it was the boyfriend that did it, and then it's like 10 years later at the 10-year reunion and the girl that died, her brothers like kind of got everyone back and he's like, I know it wasn't him, so which one of you guys did it? And like everyone has secrets, everyone's kind of freaking out, and it has like past present timelines. I remember my only issue, like my biggest issue that I had with this book was that the timelines going back and forth, like the past timelines didn't go in a like consecutive order. It would be like, oh, now we're in sophomore year, now we're in senior year, and it's like I couldn't keep track of like when certain events happened, so that was a little confusing. But the present timeline was really fun, and it was like, honestly, this friend group was so messy, like it felt low-key like reality TV. Like that was kind of, I really liked that. So if you want like a fast-paced like mystery, like dark like mystery for fall, I'd recommend this. It was a fun time. The next book that I read was If We Are Villains by ML Rio. This was probably my favorite book I read in the Dark Academia vlog. I really liked this. I also turned my mom onto it. Like, she really likes this book now too. This is not for everyone, and I understand why. Same thing with The Secret History. Like, I feel like those two are like the big Dark Academia books, and I feel like they're not everyone's cup of tea, which is totally fine. Like, I just don't think about them that hard. Like, I just like think of them as like pure entertainment, and like I'm having a good time. But this one is very heavily leaning into Shakespeare. It's about this friend group at a Shakespearean liberal arts conservatory, college students studying Shakespeare. So very pretentious, very snooty. The whole book, like, they were like quoting like Shakespeare at each other, and I was like, I don't know whether to be impressed or like, I don't even know what to say about this, because I'm like, how do you remember this? Like, truly, like, how do you just like throw out Shakespeare quotes at each other? Low-key impressed. Also, this book was a little bit difficult to read because there were so many like Shakespearean like lines and like all that throughout. Like, I was liking the book, but I started to really enjoy it when I started listening to it on audio, because Shakespeare is a play. It's meant to be listened to. So also this book reads like a play too, like the act 1 scene 1. Reading it like that definitely made it easier to comprehend. So I really liked that. But yeah, I think overall I rated this like 4 stars. I really enjoyed it. I had a fun time. I'm really excited to read Graveyard Shift. I don't think I liked it as much as Secret History for as far as dark academia goes, but I had a good time. The next book I read is definitely my favorite book I read this month. I love this book so much. It is A Dangerous Collaboration by Dana Raybourn. Oh my god, guys. You guys, well, everyone knows how I feel about the Veronica Speedwell series. Like, that's not really a secret. I talk about this series so often on my channel. Even like, I haven't read the whole thing. Like, the first 3 books were phenomenal. But this book, though, brought it to a whole new level of like love in my brain. Like, this book was so good. Out of all of them, like, this was definitely my favorite. This one follows more of like a murder mystery. Like, the synopsis was: a bride mysteriously disappears on her wedding day, and intrepid Veronica Speedwell must find out what happened to her. So this honestly was my favorite of the mysteries because I liked the premise. I also really loved it was kind of on this coastal island, so I loved the setting where it was. Also, sometimes with the Veronica Speedwell series, like, the people who are surrounding the mystery that they're trying to solve, because it's new characters every time, because it's a different mystery every time, it's hit or miss whether like how attached I get to those characters. But I really enjoyed the side characters in this book, which definitely helped elevate it. Obviously I always love Veronica and Stoker. Their definition of slow burn, like slowest burn in the entire world. Like, it's excruciating how slow of a burn this is, but I'm a fan of the slow burn, so for me, that's amazing. In this book, like, we're getting those kind of developments, because we're on the 4th book now, so like it's starting to burn a little bit, but I'm like, I'm loving it. I'm loving it so much. Veronica is just such an amazing character to me. Like, I love her so much. She's so avoidant attachment style, and I think it's so funny. She's like, oh, like I might have feelings for you. Let me travel on the opposite side of the world to like study butterflies for 10 months to sort out my feelings. See ya. I love her, and she's so funny. This one was one of my favorite. This was 5 stars. It was so good. So atmospheric, so perfect. I love the series. The next book that I read was The Spell Shop by Sarah Beth Durst. This one was honestly just like fun. I mean, it was a cozy fantasy. Like, really nothing happened. That's what you get with cozy fantasies, and that's what I was looking for. So I had a fun time. I've been looking forward to this book for so long when it came out. So I think just like seeing the cover, I was just so excited. And then when it like, I had such high expectations, and I don't think I lived up to those expectations, but that's okay, because I enjoyed it for what it was. And also, like, but like, look at this. How can I not have high expectations? Like, look at that little cat with wings. It's so cute. This book isn't for everyone, because like, by some standards it was like boring, but like, I kind of like boring books where like I can just enjoy like the atmosphere and the vibes. But I know that that's certainly not for everyone. This one basically follows this girl, Keela, who is from this really small coastal town. Her parents moved her to like this big city. She becomes a librarian, and her best friend is a talking plant, and who's the best character in the book. She basically doesn't want to talk to anyone, literally never anyone. Like, she does not like people at all. However, there's a revolt in the big city, so she books it back to her parents' cottage in this very small coastal town with these preserved spell books that she like stole from the library by like trying to like save them. But this town people, it's like very small town, very coastal. It was so like, the atmosphere and the vibes were so good. All like the mythical creatures and stuff were just so perfect. I love reading about mythical creatures. Love them so much. Like, you're seeing all of them, like the cat with wings, for example, and the talking plant. It was all just like so random and so fun. This was a good time if you're looking for like a little hot chocolate on like a rainy day kind of vibe. I think I rated this 3 stars because I had fun. It just wasn't my favorite thing in the world, but still a good time. The next book I read came as a shock to me because I did not think I was going to read it, and that is Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. If you guys know, I'm really trying. I've never read the Harry Potter series as a child. I've never got on that train, but I'm really trying to now because I want to feel included in the lore. Like, I just want to know, like, I want to understand the jokes. I want to understand, like, the references. So the first 2 books I read, I was like, all right, like, I feel like I kind of outgrew it, but I was like, you know what, no, I'm committed, and I bought the box set, so I have to keep going. Picked up the 3rd one because I feel like everyone talks about like fall and Christmas is the time to read these, so I feel like now is kind of my moment for them, and so I was like, all right, it's now or never. So I pick it up and I had a great time. The 3rd book was like way better for me than the other 2. I think I'm finally starting to like, they're aging, so I feel like it's kind of maturing a little bit, which I'm enjoying, and I feel like I'm like in the world now, so that's kind of fun. Like, I'm kind of mad at myself because this is definitely something I would enjoy when I was a kid. Like, this is right up my alley, and like, I was just stubborn. I was a stubborn little girl. Oh, and I still am, because I still don't like to read really hyped up books. Nothing has changed since I was 8, and this was so hyped up, everyone talked about it, and I was like, no. But now I'm like, you know what, I want to understand. So this was a really good time, and I'm not gonna say too much about it because like, I know it's been out for so long, but like, I don't want to say any spoilers because I've gone this long without being spoiled. Like, I don't know how Harry Potter ends, so I feel like I need to get on that because I don't think that'll last forever, so I'm excited for that. I was unsure if I was going to continue on with the series before reading this, but after reading this I'm like, all right, I'm liking this now. And the last book I read in September is Daydream by Hannah Grace. This is the 3rd icebreaker. I didn't read any romance in September besides this, and by the end I was like, I need something a little fun. I need something a little fun, a little flirty. I picked up this. It was my book club book. Also, I was really excited for Henry's story, and the girl on the cover has a folklore cardigan and a book and runs book club. Hannah Grace like wrote a book about me, I fear, and I was eating it up. Like, I feel like I read this at such a perfect time. I was so stressed out and just needed like a pure mindless escapism, and this book delivered. Truly. I actually really, this is probably my favorite of like the icebreaker books. I feel like this kind of went a little deeper. I feel like when people think of the icebreaker books, they're like, oh, you know, just like spicy, no plot, no nothing. But like, I disagree, to be honest. Like, I feel like it's kind of the stereotype for like just romance books in general, but especially this one, like, it definitely delved into problems that like these kids are in college, and like, where I'm exactly the same age as the characters in these books, and like, I could absolutely relate to like some of the issues and problems that they were going through, like related to school and friendships and all of that. Like, I just found that really relatable, and like, I feel like there were really like real world problems, and I loved that like these characters, like miscommunication not for these 2, this is some of the best communication I've ever read about in a book. It was also great because like, they became friends before they got together, which I really enjoyed, and I feel like that really built up like the relationship more. Like, they really like knew and like appreciated each other for who they were as people. Like, sometimes when I read romance books, it feels like lust at first sight. Like, it's just, the whole book is just driven by lust and not love, but I could like feel the love that these 2 had for each other in this book, which I like adored. And it was a definitely like slower burn than the rest of them, which I also really enjoyed. Like, they didn't get together like right away, you know. The quick little plot premise: her boyfriend breaks up with her. They've been dating for about a year. They've been best friends like forever, but they break up. It's just not really working as like a relationship, and she realizes that she has been kind of living for him. Like, she has not been living for herself. So she decides to spend the school year trying to find herself, do things for her. And she meets Henry, and he is struggling. He's the captain of the hockey team. He is struggling in one class, and she's like, all right, I will help you with this class if you help me like have some real life experiences, because I feel like I haven't like really lived yet. So they kind of have this little relationship together that help each other out. Yeah, overall it was really good. I really enjoyed it. I think it the plot got a little lost around the middle. I feel like around here, like, it was around 400 pages. It could have been shorter. It didn't need to be. It could have been like 300 to like 350, I feel. So that is kind of our docs and points. I feel like I'm rating this like 4.25. I really enjoyed it, but that was the only thing that kind of docked it a little bit for me. It kind of dragged in the middle. But overall, really enjoyed these characters, really enjoyed their story, their communication, their banter, just everything about it was a really great story. So if you're gonna read any of the Icebreakers, you don't have to read the other ones to read this. So if you just want to read this, like, you totally can. Yeah, I definitely recommend this though. So those are all the books that I read in September. I really hope you guys enjoyed this week's video. If you guys have any other videos that you would like to see from me, please let me know. If you guys like my videos, please like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you guys so much for watching this week's video, and I hope you guys have a fabulous week, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!